Welcome in, everyone. I'm SquishableMoon, your shooting star, worm on a string enthusiast with a ranch addiction and fewer brain cells than the common garden snail. And welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about starting your book. A lot of people want to start their book, but they really don't know where to start, and I feel like that's what was stopping me from really starting to write my own books. If you don't know, I am going to be a self-published author very soon, hopefully. I promise I'll make a video when I publish my first book called Fuzz Buckets. It is going to be a child book themed off of My Little Pony, so if you like that kind of thing, stay tuned. But today we are going to be talking about what I do personally to start my own books. Now, starting the book to me is the hardest part, but also I feel like the most fun part in the journey of writing a book. So today we are going to be showing you what I do to start my book, and this book is themed off of Harry Potter. Now, do not get me wrong, I do not support the creator of Harry Potter. I think what they have done is horrendous to society, and it is my condolences to the people that have been hurt because of her actions. Unfortunately, Harry Potter, for me and a lot of people, was something we grew up with that is very near and dear to our heart, especially if you're on the spectrum or autistic and it's one of your special interests. I personally loved Harry Potter ever since I was a kid, but I cannot support Harry Potter knowing what the creator stands for. It is really hard for me to separate art from the art itself. Some people have an easier time doing it, but this is my own personal view on it. I am not going to judge people who still like Harry Potter. I'm also not going to judge people who still indulge in Harry Potter by watching the movies if they already own them. However, I do think if you can, buying things secondhand that are Harry Potter are going to be a lot better just in the long run, so you don't support the person who is making it. But that is my opinion. Do you guys support the person who made Harry Potter? I would love to know in the comments and hear your view on it. Anyway, this book is themed around Harry Potter. It is not a full copycat of Harry Potter, but I knew that I wanted something similar to Harry Potter that I personally could get invested in, so that way I didn't have to support Harry Potter. So I was like, well, I'll just make my own book with blackjack and hookers. And that is exactly what I'm doing, minus the hookers. This is a kid-rated book. Anyway, what I first do to start off with making my book is I use a website called Malinote, I believe it's called. I'll leave my link in the comments. Please use my link so that way you can get it, and it's really awesome. What it basically is a place for you to kind of put all of your thoughts together in a cohesive manner, kind of like having a blackboard or a bulletin board with string and you're connecting all the dots. I like this because I am a very visual person. I need to be able to see everything connecting. Sometimes I would write stuff down in a document, but I never really felt like it made sense because I'm just not good at organizing documents. But on Malinote, I am able to put everything together, and I am able to put little strings to connect everything. So first I took a few things. I started off with the image here that you see, this little mountain. And basically, this little mountain just shows you the progression of the story. You have the beginning, the rising action, the conflict, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution and ending. This is just my basic outline for how a story should go. There is no right or wrong way to, have your story go, but I try to use the platforms and templates that are already made by other writers to help me kind of format my own story. The first thing I knew is that I wanted it to have houses and dorms like Harry Potter. I love the idea of everyone having their own dorm, so I made school teams or houses or dorms. I haven't decided what to call it. I think I'm going to call it dorms or teams. And first we have Dragon, which is prideful, passionate, wisdom, adaptable, overdramatic, concerned about glory, reckless risk takers, self-obsessed. This is going to be the Gryffindors of the series. These are going to be the really prideful people, really dramatic people. And then we have unicorns. They are innocent, loyal, patient, forgiveness, conflict averted, passive aggressive, and easily frustrated. This is going to be the Hufflepuffs of the series, the more loyal, the more kind type people, but people that are passive aggressive, maybe they're easily frustrated, maybe they're easy to anger type people. Then we are going to have the Phoenixes. This is courage, ambition, chivalry, determination, antisocial, superiority complex, and these are going to be the Ravenclaws of the school. They are going to be the smart people, the ones that are very logical thinkers, that have to think things through, but they are going to think they are better than everyone else. And last but not least, we are going to have the Spinks. They are cunning, resourceful, self-preservation, power hungry, cliquey, and bossy. These are going to be the Slytherins of the series. They are going to see as very uptight, very cliquey, never wanting to stray from who they're with, and also going to be seen as kind of like the quote-unquote bad team of the school. And of course, I knew that I wanted there to be wands and stones. So if you don't know, in my story, kids do not just buy their wands. Every student is given a stone when they are first born. It is given by the government. There is a specific reason as to why they're given a stone when they're born. This isn't how all of them are made, but this is how the government controls the output of magic in their society. Their stones or crystals become their source of magic. They turn into a wand or a staff or a violin or glasses. Basically, whatever a child needs to be able to do their magic. If they are better at cooking magic, brewing, maybe they'll get a ladle or a spoon or some other object that can better be used for their medium. So wands can be any shape. Wand, staff, they can be a book, an instrument, a necklace, glasses, anything you want your magic to be in a physical form, they can be. So I knew that I wanted the world to be dark academia. I want there to be a dark forest. I want there to be a secret well somewhere in the forest. I want there to be a forgotten treasure, a room with magical items that aren't used, that have been forgotten, like in Harry Potter. A lost and found, but it's scary and deadly. And obviously a school forest with lots of pixies inside. And then I knew that I wanted there to be spells. We got Origami Life, where you can turn origami into animals that can better send letters. So if you want to send a letter to somebody, you use magic on a piece of paper that is origami, and it will turn into an animal that can take its shape and run, fly, swim, or whatever in order to get to the person to give them your note. I want there to be plant magic, animal friendship, floating light, dream manipulation, sight enhancement, unlocking things, and cleaning things. But with good, there has to be bad. So there are banned spells like in Harry Potter, like death, torture, and mind control. If you guys can think of any other banned spells that I should add to this list, let me know. Spells you can use with permission are truth spells, memory spells, and locate object or person. Now that we have that, I knew that I wanted the school to be based off of a castle, specifically the Neuterwestern, is that how you pronounce it? Neuterwestern Castle. It is a very big castle, sort of like the one in Harry Potter. I wanted dark academia castle vibes. I wanted the school to rest on a cliff overlooking the ocean. I think it would be really cool if they were next to the ocean with beaches. Pixies are going to be the school mascot. Every school has a mascot, and for this one, it is pixies. However, in this school, in this place, pixies are not exactly good nor evil. They are a creature just like everything else, and they are flesh-eating pixies, which means they will bite you, like in the Labyrinth, if you've ever seen the Labyrinth. Pixies are kind of angry and will bite you if you touch them. It is the same in this universe. So, about the dorms, let's get back into the dorms. The dorm rooms are outside the school in a small town that teachers also live in. Instead of living inside the school, they live in a small community that is outside the school. All the rooms or houses are bigger on the inside. So if you go inside, the house is going to be a lot larger. I like the idea of that, especially if you watch Doctor Who. I definitely wanted to bring some of that Time Lord technology into my story. So places are bigger on the inside. So each team house has its own small neighborhood, each with its own theme. So think of color palettes or flowers or dark academia, whatever have you. Each neighborhood has its own type of theming, which I think is really cool depending on what team or house you get. Another thing that's important that I really liked in Harry Potter was that they had a school sport. So obviously I can't use Quidditch, even though that is a very cool sport. I really liked it. I ended up going with something a little bit different. The school sport is magical parkour mixed with King of the Mountain. If you don't know what parkour is, it's basically running and jumping from tall buildings or low buildings or objects, maneuvering in a way where you fly over them or go under them in a very swift motion and keep going. If you don't know what King of the Mountain is, it's basically a game where the last one standing on top of the mountain or the first one to get to the top of the hill is the winner. So there are going to be 4 teams, 1 for each house, and the first one that gets to the top wins. The field is basically a huge tower that changes as you try to go up it. I really think it would be interesting if they could use magic while on the field to kind of get everyone in the school spirit of using magic. So they have to use what they learned on the field. Obviously, they can't use the banned spells, but they can use certain spells to help them get up the mountain. So we also need a main villain. Obviously, we need a villain. I very much liked Voldemort as a villain. I thought he was interesting, but I also felt like he was lacking in a lot of stuff. Maybe it was just me. I felt like his backstory was a little boring. I felt like it could have been better. So my main villain is called Valmont. Kind of like Voldemort. I like the name Valmont. It is actually a co-worker of my mom's with that name. So it is going to be the old teacher or headmaster that was fired from his position and was kicked out of working at any magical school. He wants to take over the school and reclaim his role as headmaster to better control the students and the people that were at that school. He is also able to eat memories through dreams, and this is where he learns all of his information. So if we scroll over, you can also see where I start the story. This is really great to put just the basics of what you want in a story. So the starting, I knew that I wanted the character to be named Chloe. Her parents are overprotective. Chloe turns 15 when she is given the invitation to the School of Magic because her parents keep it from her. Chloe learns that she is a witchlock or wizard, but both of her parents are normal humans. I really liked in Harry Potter how Hermione Granger's parents were both humans, and yet they had a child that was magical. So I really want to go with that aspect. I want to go with both of her parents being just normal humans that don't have magic. Maybe later on in their ancestry they had magic at one point, but through generations of mingling with normal humans, they have lost their magical abilities. However, Chloe was given magical abilities when she was born. if we go up here, we can see the kind of characters I have. I have Chloe Odette Tuffin, which is the main character. I have Gail Bay Cromwell, which is going to be the headmaster's son. And we are going to have Madison Grace Zephyr. This is going to be one of their friends. And we have another character named Kai Riley Flynn. And of course, I am still working on the school bullies. I am working on their names. I think Caspian Jareth Anchor is a really cool name. I want them to have similar magical sounding names like how they did in Harry Potter. I really like the name Draco Malfoy. I feel like that's one of their stronger names. But I feel like sometimes I go too hard on the names and I give them names that nobody is going to be called. So let me know, are these good names or are these bad names? Are they too much? I think they're interesting. So we are going to get into the conflict rising. This is going to be the conflict kind of, you know, what's going on. So the first conflict is going to be Chloe unable to manifest her magical crystal. So she is having a hard time getting her magical artifact to work. So there is a magical sport, which is the King of the Mountain parkour is coming up, and if you win, the team will gain 40 points. I really liked the idea of, you know, points being used in Harry Potter. I don't know if I will keep that, but I think it's interesting if you do extracurricular activities or whatever, you get extra points towards your house or your team, and whichever team has the most at the end will win like a trophy or a banner or something like that. Something simple just to kind of get kids wanting to do more stuff in the school. But I kind of want to do more with it. I feel like in Harry Potter it wasn't used very much except as a way to kind of punish or reward people. But I think it could be interesting to go more in depth with that. So the rising action, Chloe makes it to the magical school. Chloe would be placed into one of the four school teams. Chloe makes two friends, Madison and Gail. Chloe finds her dorm house and meets her teammates. Chloe starts her classes, and Chloe finds a greenhouse. So this whole story, I want to be very filled with magic. I want her to really struggle with learning magic, especially because she comes from a house that doesn't have any magic, that doesn't necessarily know what to do with magic. She didn't even know she was a witchlock or a witch or a wizard this whole time, and all of a sudden everything is thrown at her at once. But I don't want it to be scary. I want it to be wondrous and magical, and she is excited because obviously if I was given a ticket to go to a magical school, you know my butt is going to be so excited to do this. I would be so struck with wonder and amazement that I would want to learn everything. So I really want to take my feelings and put it into the main character of just this character that wants to learn all the magic she can, sort of like Hermione Granger, and just really get into the magic of the school. Something I do want to put in here that I actually haven't yet is, actually we can add it. So if you go up here, you can add a note. I can drag it like right here and I can make it bigger or smaller. I'm going to make it like that. And then I can drag this arrow and I can drag it all the way over here to the school. And then we have a way to just type in here, and I really want this to focus on the school's hidden rooms and magical doors. I really want it to focus on the school and how amazing the school is and how interesting the school is. Just like in Harry Potter, we really get a lot of lore of the school. It feels very 3D, like there's a lot of hidden treasures in there. I really want to focus on that. So this book is going to be called The Well of Whispers. I want this to have something to do with a magical well that people can either make a wish in, or maybe it's an evil well somewhere in the forest. And this is what they set out to find in order to do something. So the well is lost in the dark forest that surrounds the castle. The well is magical. The inside of the well is large water-based room with maybe sirens and mermaids. In order to get whatever you need in there, you have to get past them. I think that could be really interesting, especially because I love unicorns and mermaids. So the climax. So far what I have for the climax is Chloe and her friends have to make it out of the dark forest full of magical beasts. Chloe finds her magic while running from fairies, the flesh-eating fairies. They make it back to the school just in time to enter the sport. The falling action. They start the games. The main game is the magical parkour where magic is used. The game is parkour and King of the Hill. An enraged dragon or maybe Hydra crashes into the school and attacks people during the game. I like to think this is because of the school bullies maybe enraging it so that their team loses. Chloe makes it to the top of the parkour tower. Chloe makes the dragon Hydra follow her up the tower and is able to make the magic of it falling back asleep or something to do with that. I don't know if I want her to be the one that does it, but I think her and her friends might do it. I think it could be interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Alice in Wonderland live action movie, where Alice has to make the dragon follow her up this giant tower while fighting it. I think that could be interesting if Chloe is running up the tower to get away from the magical animal in order to, you know, really, you know, fight it in some kind of way, or to just flee for her life. I think could be really interesting. So, the resolution. Chloe wins the games. Her team is given 40 points. She is given an extra 40 points for stopping the dragon. The group of bullies is mad, all except for one who acknowledges their efforts. And this is going to become one of their friends. I think I would like to make this happen because I really like when enemies become friends. And there are 4 friends total in this book. There is Chloe, Madison, Gale, and then Kai. So I think I want either Kai or Gale to be one of the bullies that end up becoming her friend. The school is back under control. Chloe is able to use her magic and picks up a school course for animal handling. I think it would be very interesting if the school has courses that you can go into, kind of like extracurricular activity. And I want Chloe's to be for animal handling. Something that I liked in Harry Potter that I wanted to bring into this is the animal aspect. You know, like they have the newer movies that I haven't seen where it's more about the animals that are in Harry Potter, but I want to bring some more of that into this with unique animals and all of that. And then the last thing I have is the ending, and as you can see, it is blank because I haven't decided on what I want the ending to be. But as you can see, I have all of my stuff here, and I can just keep adding whatever I want. This page is ginormous. I can make these smaller, bigger, whatever I want. You can draw on here. You can add comments, columns, tables, images, anything you want. A to-do list, links. I really like it personally because it just works for me because I'm a visual learner. But yeah, this is what I have so far. Like I said, I wanted to make my own Harry Potter type book, very magical, School of Magic. There are other things that are magic school related that aren't Harry Potter. It's just Harry Potter is the first one I can think of, so that's what I used as a reference. But what do you think? Would you read a book like this? Do you think it's cool? What would you like to see in this book? What is something in Harry Potter that you either loved or hated or wish could be changed, or something they would go on about more in depth in? I just want to know your opinions if you would like it or not, because I am writing this as a free series on my channel. I am not going to publish it unless people want me to. But I have been working on it as an audiobook for my YouTube, and I just want to hear what you guys think. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope all your dreams come true. Bye-bye.